I see a word problem in front of us. Let's go ahead and read it the first time. This first time, you should only be reading for context. Don't think about anything you need to annotate or any numbers at this point. The area of the bottom face of a rectangular prism is 45 square centimeters. The volume of the prism is 315 cubic centimeters. What is the height of the prism? As I was reading this problem, I saw that they gave us the area, they gave us the volume, and that they're looking for the height. When we read the problem the second time, now you can be thinking of any important numbers or information that you may want to annotate. The area of the bottom face of a rectangular prism is 45 square centimeters. I'm giving the area of 45 square centimeters. The volume of the prism is 315 cubic centimeters. What is the height of the prism? I'm also noticing that the units for this problem will be centimeters. All right, let's go ahead and make sure we have some notes on our paper. Area equals 45 square centimeters. The volume equals 315 cubic centimeters. Again, make sure that you're writing this on a piece of loose leaf or in your math notebook. Okay, so I definitely know that this problem is about volume and I'm looking for the height. Whenever I'm dealing with the volume, something else that was super important, of a rectangular prism, because remember, next year you might be finding the volume of other shapes. In 5th grade, we're only going to focus on rectangular prisms. So I know that when I'm looking for the volume of a rectangular prism, there are 2 possible volume formulas. Let's go ahead and write both of them down so that we can see which one we should use. Go ahead and take a moment to think. The first volume formula is volume equals length times width times height. The second volume formula is volume equals base area times height. Go ahead and make sure you have both of these down. All right, let's go back and look at our info. We know the area, we'll know the volume. We're trying to figure out the height. If I use this first volume formula, I would need to know or have some information about the length, width, height, or volume. Well, I do know something about the volume. Do I know anything about the length, though? No. Do I know anything about the width, though? No. Do I know anything about the height? Well, I do know that's missing. But there's a lot of missing information, so I know that this first volume formula actually wouldn't work. Let's think about this second volume formula. I do know the volume, I do know the base area, and I would only be missing the height. So this one actually works perfectly. Let's go ahead and use this volume formula then. Remember, you always want to rewrite the volume formula. Volume equals base area times height. Thinking about the information that you already know, let's start to substitute some of these variables so that we can solve our problem. Again, I know that my volume is 315 cubic centimeters. I know that my base area is 45 square centimeters. But I don't know my height, so I'm just going to leave that as h. So 315 equals 45 times something. Now I could sit here all day and I could do 45 times 1, times 2, times 3, till I get to 315. But we know as 5th graders that we can use the inverse or the opposite operation in order to find a missing piece. So if I know that 45 times something will give me 315, I can actually rearrange this problem to say 315 divided by 45 would give me the height. Make sure that you actually have some workspace so that we can solve the rest of this problem. Remember, no cheating. I'm going to go ahead and set up my long division. 315 divided by 45. 45 goes into 3 0 times. 0 times 45 is 0. Subtract, I get 3. Let's bring down the 1. 45 goes into 31 0 times. 0 times 45 is 0. Subtract, I get 31. Bring down the 5. Now, I have to make a pretty good estimate as to how many times 45 can go into 315. I'm thinking that 45 is kind of close to 50, and 315 is kind of close to 300. Sorry, just showing my work on the side so I can explain my thinking. And now I can kind of count by 50s to make my estimates. So 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300. I estimate that 45 can go into 315 about 6 times. Let's see if that's true. 45 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Put the 0, regroup the 3. 6 times 4. 24 plus 3 is 27. That seems pretty close to 315. That I think I might be able to go in another group. Let's try 7. 45 times 7. 7 times 5 is 35. Put the 5, regroup the 3. 7 times 4 is 28. 31. Oh, what do you know? It goes in perfectly 7 times. 7 times 45 is 315. I get 0. So 315 divided by 45 would give me a height of 7. And we need to go back to our units. We said that we were using cubic centimeters, square centimeters. Remember, since this is just the height, it is one-dimensional. It is just plain regular schmegula centimeters, nothing fancy. So I now know the height of the prism is 7 centimeters. And I want to make sure to have a complete sentence for this problem because it was an open response question. Make sure it's nice, neat on your paper. The height of the rectangular is 7 centimeters. Make sure you have those centimeters in there.